Stay tuned. We've got the guys from 1876.
What up? We are 1876. Stick around. Sivat Stunutsadapsi.
What he said.
Welcome to the Tunepact Podcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop, Lee Pierce. And today we're lucky enough to be joined by 1876. Guys, thanks for coming. Can you take a minute and introduce yourself, please?
What up? What up? This is Gabe. I am also AKA'd as Mr. Steal Your Girls Horses. Perfect timing for that to happen. I play guitar and sing in the band.
I'm Luke. I don't have an AKA. I'm just Luke. And I play drum kit in the band.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about the band? How long has it been going, and how long's everybody been playing together?
1876 technically started in 2020. It started with just me. It was like just a personal project, but the band has been a band since 2022, I believe. So we've been a band for about 3 years now. And Luke is the newest member, actually, of the band. So he took over on drums June?
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, in June.
Yep, it was June.
So you were saying it started with just you in 2020. What was it? Was that just you recording everything on your own? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I wrote everything on my own. Of course, it was like in the middle of the pandemic, so even if I wanted a band, we probably wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway. But I just was recording everything, writing it all. I recorded it myself, mixed it, EQ'd it, everything. Only thing I didn't do was master it. My friend mastered it for me. But yeah, I played all the parts and everything. It was just to put out some music, like this idea that I had brewing for years and years and years, and I was finally able to put it out. I had tried like two times. I had tried to put this EP out. I've recorded the first EP 3 times, but each time in full, like mixed everything. But every time I would record it, whatever laptop I was using would crash and erase it all right at the end. It happened twice, and then my wife gave me a computer and was like, "Hey, I think you can do this," in the midst of 2020. And then, of course, I had the time, and so I did it again, and it finally came out.
Wow, that's a lot. Like, I did not know about any of that. That had to have been what I just got. What gave you the drive to do it for a third time? I don't, man. I'm stubborn. I love what I do, but I don't know if after the second time I could bring myself to even try it. I'd be so mad and over it. How did you push through it and go ahead and keep going?
It was pretty frustrating for sure. I think the one of the things, obviously, my wife giving me the computer and being like, "Try it with this." That was one. I was like, "Well, she believes in me." I work in EMS, so just seeing people die every day, like drowning, and like in the beginning of COVID, like we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what this thing was, and people were going brain dead. Like we were seeing all kinds of crazy things, spinal columns like swelling up, like it was nuts. And so part of that also was just like, we get one chance at this life, and I've been given 3 chances now to record the CP. And if this is what it takes, then I'm gonna keep going. And then there's just other things too, like our first drummer Mark, he really liked the song Isako Yesit, and he was just saying like this is really cool, man. You gotta push for this. And Joe, who's my brother, who plays powwow drum, he was another one who was like, dude, this is a really cool sound. And to get a compliment from either one of those two people is like, it's high praise for the two of them to be like, hey, this sounds pretty cool. That's like that's like worth $1 million right there. So it was like all those 4 things pushing me.
That's awesome. And yeah, when there's someone, doesn't matter how close they are, that you look up to and you really appreciate their viewpoint on things, and then having them tell you that that's awesome. Then I've got the most supportive and understanding and patient wife in the world, so
Yeah.
I know how that feels when you're like, we're just dumb guys, man. How did we even, And then when they actually believe in us, like, oh shit, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so what have you guys been up to this year with Luke joining?
Crazy shows. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah. So Gabe asked me to join the band in June by saying, "Hey, we got 5 shows in June. I need somebody to cover them on drums." I was like, "All right, I can do 5 shows. That's not a problem. I've been doing this for 3 decades. Whatever. I got it." I joined the band, and then a week later, Gabe was like, "Oh, we got 5 shows in July. 3 of them supported Bad Cop, Bad Cop, all local, Tacoma, Bremerton, and Seattle. So those aren't a problem." And then, oh yeah, hey, in August we're going to Canada. I've been playing on stages for 30 years, and I'd never played outside of the United States. So we hit up Canada, hit Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec City, and then we've just been. I mean, we haven't been busy outside of those like 10 real travel shows, and then a couple others here and there, but it's been a really good summer.
Yeah, yeah,
That's in support of the new EP, right?
yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
just put out Powell Punk Rock 4.
Oh, great EP. I love it. Braids in the Pit, absolutely awesome. I love it. So,
Thank you.
and how many EPs is that you guys have released now?
4. This is the
Four.
final one.
Yeah. So why do you go with EPs over LPs? Like, see, I'm a guy as a music fan. Almost all my favorite songs, no matter if it's a band that's put out 30 albums, usually my favorite songs of these bands are ones that were on EPs or like on a B-side collection, something like that. Because it always feels like it's a departure for the band. It's like, well, if they could have if they wanted to do a whole album of this sound, they would have. And the EP always just seems a little more personal. So like, I prefer EPs over LPs. Plus my attention span. Get a good
Yeah.
12 minutes. About all I got. So what makes you guys want to go with EPs over LPs?
It's kind of that a little bit like EPs. I feel like you're talking about your attention span. That's everybody. Like we're competing with the smallest attention span that I've ever noticed in my life. Like globally, like everybody's just like, I need instant gratification immediately right now. If you don't catch me in the first 6 seconds, I'm out. So that on top of my own feeling of when I listen to a record like a LP and I'm hearing the same voice for 15 songs, I'm like, I'm over it. So if I'm feeling that, then probably other people are feeling that. And also, usually with like full albums, there's a lot of fat. Like there's a lot of filler because they're trying to feel like a contractual obligation, and we're independent. So for me, like putting out EPs, it's just like I'm just gonna trim the fat and put out the best stuff possible. And I try to like I treat them like mixtapes. Like I love mixtapes. I love hip hop, and mixtapes is like one of my favorite things because it's exactly what you're saying. Like with hip hop artists, it's when they kind of go off and they just kind of do things that they like, something that like speaks to them personally, and it's usually it's an independent release like a mixtape because it's just them putting their own stuff out. So there's no contracts, there's no obligations, there's no commercial anything behind it. It's just like as an artist, I'm gonna do what I do, which is art, and that's how I treat EPs. So I don't know. I feel like with an album, you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a through line, and we do have that. But it's just like kind of like I don't know, doing what you want.
Well, it's the same as a short story or a short film. And, you see it all the time on streaming services always get it wrong when they have their original ones. It's like, oh, that movie should have been a series, or no, that series should have been a movie. They
Yeah.
never get the timing right. And I feel like that happens a lot in the music industry, too. And like as we were talking, the departure part of it, whether it's a 4-song or a 7-song EP, every one of those songs can have a completely different vibe, a completely different feel. You can have a different feature artist in there showing what they've got. You can't do that with 17 fucking tracks.
Yeah.
You just can't, because they've all got to be cohesive when you've
Yep.
got that many. It's weird. It's how it is. If you got 4 songs, they could all sound completely different. But if you got 15, they've all got to sound like they belong together as part of a bigger project.
Yeah,
And that's another thing I love about EPs. Do you guys have plans for doing more of a long play later on, or are you guys thinking to stick with EPs?
I kind of feel like that's the next move, but to be honest, like I don't know what's next for the band. Like we're we're all, I mean, I don't know about Luke. Luke could probably speak to this for himself, but for the rest of us who've been in the band a little bit longer, we've been grinding pretty hard and we're getting a little burnt out and a little disillusioned with some of what we've been seeing and who we've been meeting and how we're watching the crowd move. Like, so I don't know what's next, but if we are able to continue exactly how we are right now, then yes, and a full album, a fully realized like beginning, middle, end, just to show that we can do that would be next, and that's what a lot of people are asking for anyway. Like everybody wants a full album, but I keep telling everyone, dude, like trust me, a full album of us, it's gonna be monotonous. You're gonna be like okay. After about I like about 5 songs on this album. I told you, dude.
Just don't release an album. Just release 15 singles.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Just singles is the big thing now, man. Just don't actually call it an album. Just call it 15 singles. Like get on like Amazon or Spotify. Like nobody has albums anymore unless they're signed someplace and have an obligation. And then, like we said, it doesn't have to be cohesive. It can just be each one is its own piece of art.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the industry's going. Like I work with teenagers every day, right? And we're all three old punk rockers that are used to the LP days, right? You order it from the mail, it shows up eventually, you listen to the whole record, and you're like, all right, like Gabe said, I like 5 of these songs. Kids now don't even care about albums. They don't care if you put out an EP or an LP. It's all streaming, so they go find the single they want, and they make those playlists, which is, like Gabe said, it's our old mixtapes. I used to throw things on cassettes. They just put it on, I mean, it's the devil, but they put it on Spotify as a playlist, and that's, honestly, it's how I see some of my students date each other. I made a playlist. This is how I feel about you, is how we used to make mixtapes for the girls we liked, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't matter if we make an LP. I'm with Gabe. People want it. They keep asking for it. But it doesn't matter because people are going to find those their own way anyway.
Yeah, and what's the percentage of people that are actually going to listen to the album all the way through and are paying for Spotify Premium to even do that or whatever music service they're using? They're probably going to be like, oh, I like this one, I'm going to put on a playlist, and they might not get any further into the album anyways. I'm notorious for that. I mean, I shouldn't be. I'm here preaching against it, but yeah, I mean, there's some of my favorite bands I've been listening to for 30 years, and there's songs I haven't even heard yet, just because I got to track 3, was like, that's my favorite, and I just stopped. That's what my brain does. So I think, yeah, with streaming now, it's just automatically you build a playlist, and it's usually not just one artist.
I do want to touch on something that Luke said. He said that we made mixtapes. I'm younger than Luke, so.
Okay, you made mixed CDs.
I made mixed CDs, and that's important that people understand that I'm actually younger than Luke.
I'm the middle of the band. I'm not the oldest. I'm not the youngest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be 50 in a few months, so I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sit over here and be quiet.
I'm just a baby.
Well, I got my grandson sitting upstairs, so I'm doing good. I love it.
Here you go, dude. That's awesome.
Something about being the old guy, it's just I'm fine with it. I like it. It wasn't easy getting here.
That's exactly it, man. It's a goal. It's a good thing to be able to live that long, and hopefully healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and especially in today's world, it's just you got to try to find happiness where you can find it, and it's hard to find it outside of your own tight knit community or even just your family. And I mean, well, you guys see, like you were saying, you're just kind of starting to feel a little disenfranchised and when you're seeing the way things are going. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like what you guys are seeing and where you think things are happening and what you need to do.
It's kind of hard to know where to start. Like, to be honest, like this little run that we did with Bad Cop, had we not done that, I don't think I would be. I think I'd be done, because like they like Stacy, Lynn, like they were so sweet to us, and they were such like a bright orb of like positivity and like energy, and they just kind of they like rejuvenated my fight and rejuvenated like how I feel about all this stuff. But it's just like it's seeing like a lot of punk bands, like people that I looked up to, meeting them first of all and seeing that they're just kind of assholes, And like, yeah, they always say like don't meet your heroes, but still you're like this is different. Like punk rock is supposed to be different. Like I'm the child, like I'm the son of punk rock. You guys taught me all this, like all these bands, like you taught me. You like showed me when I didn't feel like I belonged even in my own indigenous community, the punk rock community was there. So for me to meet them and have them be like kind of just not who I thought they were going to be sucks, but that's like whatever. Like people have off days, and I don't blame them too much for that. But then seeing how toothless they are, like they talk about being wolves, like we we are like the interrupters. Like I was raised by wolves, stuff like that. Like they're toothless now. I don't know if they ever were actually what they're claiming to be. And then as an Indian person, like I'm listening to all these bands and hearing them say like we have the power, take back the power, we are the power, 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 and seeing how they fall so quickly in line with a dollar bill from somebody whose ethics and things go completely against the ethos of punk rock, but they had money in their hand, and so all these bands fell in line. Well, then that as an Indian person, that makes me think when you were saying you had the power, take back the power. All along, was this about white? Was it white power you've been talking about this whole time? And I was in the crowd believing that you were talking to me too as a punk rocker because now you're all these like neo Nazis and stuff are paying you to be at their festivals, and you're talking about power. So whose power are we talking about right now? You know. So then it just makes me like, maybe I didn't belong in this world at all. Maybe punk rock wasn't supposed to be for me. You know what I mean? Like, makes you question everything.
Yeah, well, that's me and my wife had this talk at least. Jesus Christ, like, it's probably once a day. Is like it makes you question yourself
Yeah.
because it's one of those where you're like, I can't be this right. You're like I can't be this right about something, and that there's that many people wrong, and it makes you question yourself and your own beliefs. It's really hard to stay a part of stuff like that because like you said, this is punk rock. It's not any other genre. The whole point of it was togetherness and us against them. And that's what it's been. I'm gonna be 50 next year, and it's insane to see the indifference. And like you're saying, like they're willing to, like all these bands are willing to play these tours, but yeah, they'll have their little political signs on stage, but you're still fucking cashing that check.
Yeah.
So what does your fuck ice sign have to do with shit?
Yeah.
Like and it does, and even that even pisses me off more because then I feel like they're just pandering to us.
Yeah.
Because if you really fucking cared, you'd do what Dropkick did, loudly and fucking publicly. But they all get on their social media and say shit, but they're still up there signing the goddamn check and playing. And so I understand. I actually no, I can't understand. I can't even imagine how you feel because I know how bad it is for me and how I feel. You know, and I'm the old white guy for fuck's sake, and it's breaking my heart. I can't even imagine what you're going through, Gabe. And I'm sorry, dude. It's bullshit.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's part of being Indian, like, being from the plains of Northern Cheyenne and Blackfeet and Nitsitapi and Titsitsas. And we have we come from a lot of conviction. And that's not normal. I mean, maybe that's just not, it just seems like the more I go out into American society, because I was raised Indian, man. So the more I'm meeting, like, different kinds of Americans, that doesn't seem to be in their DNA the same way, or it doesn't seem to be in their everyday moves the same way that it is for Indian people, or at least where I come from, the Nitsitapi and the Titsitsas. Conviction is like when we say we believe in something, we believe in it. When we say we will stand in front of you and defend you, we will stand in front of you and defend you. When we say we cannot be bought, we cannot be sold, you will not pay enough for me to be able to use my talents and my voice and everything like that. If I don't agree with you, we mean it. Like, we mean all that stuff. And I just assumed because of all these people I meet in punk rock, like, you're telling me, like, you spent your whole life with a fucking mohawk and spikes all over your clothes to set yourself aside from society, to tell society I'm not like you, and society is moving this way, and here you are moving the same way. So what's the point? What was the point of all that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Like
I'll get off
No,
my box.
you see the older guys. It's happened for a bunch of the bands that we grew up listening to that were established legacy bands when we were coming up as kids, and you see them maybe not outright supporting the current administration, but saying some shit that's real close to the same narrative
yeah,
that they're pushing anyway, and it's super disappointing even if you don't meet them. But
Yeah,
like Gabe's saying, every time we run into people our age that have those values now, it's like, dude, what were you doing when we were in high school? Like, what did you think that they were talking about?
yeah.
Even if they believe that shit now, even if those old dudes went way more conservative in their older age, like some people do, it's the guys our age that we see that are opening for us or we're opening for them, and then they're bordering on that. Like, no, man, you missed out on something. Like you said, Lee, did I get it wrong? I can't be this
Yeah,
right? Right?
I
Did I
know.
find something wrong here?
Yeah, because I tell like I mean I know I'm smart, but there's no way I am this much smarter than oh this large of a fucking group of people. Like I can't I don't know this it's not possible, and it shouldn't make you question yourself or your own values. And yeah, I don't get the some of these like you said these are like legacy punks. These are guys that have been doing it like they're older, way older than me, and they're still playing, and it's the indifference is
that's it, dude.
Yep.
just as fucking bad. It's
That's
not
it.
even the indifference like of some of I'm seeing it more and more now because as the shit's getting worse and worse. There's a very definitive line now. There's no fucking gray area. So you're seeing some of them start to come back over, which at like again it pisses me off more because it shouldn't be a reaction. It should be a fucking instinct. And that's a huge damn difference. And that's the problem is people don't realize that. You need to have the instinct. This needs to be part of you. Like you said, this is conviction. This is how I was raised. This is how I raised my kids. This is how I raised my grandson. This isn't something like, oh, I'm watching this happen. I don't need to sit and think about, is this okay?
Hmm.
And okay, it isn't. I'm just going to stay quiet. Or should I say? So this is, it should be this quick, this fucking quick. And the fact that it isn't, people, I know people are like, oh, it's just music. Not punk though.
Yeah,
It was never music. You know, punk. It was a community. It was a mindset. It was a way of life. It's not just a music. I mean, yeah, that it does go hand in hand, but it's like you said. Like, did they just never listen to the lyrics, or what happened to them? Because if something happened, I want to know. Because I want to make sure it didn't happen to me. Because I've lost a friend that was wow. Most of them are never surprises. Because you're like, fucking, that's on point. That's on brand. Yeah, that's not a surprise. But I had one that was like, I still like it was like here they were in a car accident. When I heard I was like, wow, really? And I want to make sure this shit doesn't happen to me or other people I care about. So like that's I like what happened? Where did it go wrong? I don't get it.
yeah,
And like I said, this is from an old white guy. Shit, man. I feel so bad for all the younger generations that are walking into this shit thinking this is how it's always been.
yeah. When I remember going to shows when I was a kid, my mom would tell me like when I go to these punk shows and stuff, my mom was always just like any like I'll tell you this first part and I'll tell you the second part. So the first part is my mom would tell me before I go to the shows, like remember like you're not one of them. You might be wearing the same band shirt, you might be in the same crowd, you might be doing all this stuff, but you're not one of them. And when things go wrong, when they decide to turn, they'll turn at you. Like my mom would always tell me that, and I was a teenager and I was like whatever, I'm with my friends, blah blah blah. Like that's not true. And my mom was right. She's been right all along. And now it's like this is a bigger example of it. Of like here's this Indian band where we're talking about the stuff that these punk bands have been talking about, but we actually live it. Like all these punk bands like Anti-Flag, Rage Against, not Rage Against, Rage Against, yeah, but Anti-Flag, just the more political bands. I had another one in my head, but I can't think of. The Unseen, like stuff like that. Like they're talking about, here's this thing that we're witnessing. Here's these like, there's some messed up stuff in this country that we're witnessing. As Indian people, we are singing these songs like, there's some messed up stuff we are experiencing. This is real for us. It's not something that we get to look out at and then go home. This is every day for us. So I thought I was amongst my people when they were singing these songs to me at punk shows and stuff, and now I'm finding out maybe they're not with me, you know. Maybe when push comes to shove, guess who they're gonna push and shove? Me and my band, Indian people, who did exactly what they told us to do. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard that. That was my chair. It's squeaking. I'm like saying this really important stuff, and it's like, but yeah, like it's whack. So the other part of it that I was gonna tell you is like, I recently found out, but my mom would tell us, like, we would always have these speeches before we went out. My mom would give us like, when you leave the house, remember, like, you're not, like, they don't see you the way that I see you. I see, like, my mom would tell me, like, I see a strong, smart young man, like young boy, whatever, when I was a kid, and all these great things. But when you step out of this house, that's not how the world sees you. They see you as what they talk about in textbook. They see you as a John Wayne movie. They see you as a savage. They don't see you the way I see you. Remember that when you're out there. And then, like, I didn't know that, like, black families have that, like, having black friends and stuff. They're like, yeah, I had the same, my parents told me the same exact thing. And so I thought maybe that was normal. And then I got older and talked to more people. And it seems like it's just Indian people and black people who have to have those conversations with their kids. So for us as Indian people, and when you see black people at shows, especially black men and Indian men, we have had that conversation. We have been told by our family, like, when you leave this house, you are not the beautiful person that we all know you to be. The world thinks that you're this other monster. You're this savage. And we still go to punk shows. We're at those shows. When you see an Indian or you see a black person at the show, they've heard that conversation. They've been told that, and now they're at this show with a bunch of people who they might still think are with them. But I'm finding out they're not.
Yeah, well, and that's like, I mean, it's kind of not like it's an old saying or something, but it was always, told my boys, they're both adults now, but growing up, if something happens, we're out in public and you get separated, look for someone that looks like me. Look for somebody covered in tattoos, got a mohawk, got colored hair, got spikes on their coat, because there's probably, it's safety there. And that's someone that's safe to go to. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Punk didn't all of a sudden went right. Like, and it's weird. It's so bizarre to see. I just don't, it's like, because like you were saying, I mean, you were always raised that it wasn't safe. And for me, it was, I was telling my boys it was, and it just shows the difference of what we went through. And now it's not safe for anybody. And it sure as shit shouldn't make a band that's as important as you guys. Like, honestly, like, your music's important. I hope you guys keep making more of it, because the world fucking needs it, man. I need it. I need to hear this. I need to know there's good people out there. I know what you're seeing, and I can't imagine what it feels like for you. But like, your music is important, and you got to keep pushing through. So I mean, there's such a divide. At least now, it's easier to find the safe people, because it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Which, I mean, at least though too, it makes it easier for target marketing and audience. It's easier to find your fan base when all of a sudden another 10% of the freaking country just dropped off the wrong way.
I appreciate you saying that, by the way, while you're taking a drink. I appreciate you saying, I don't want to hear compliments and be like, okay, next question. Like, I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, your music it's important, because it's you. Like you said, that's what started it, was something that was important. You recorded the same fucking EP 3 times because you felt it was that important to get out there, and you were right. Your friends were right, your wife was right, and I'm glad they helped push you into doing that. because I wouldn't be sitting here talking with you guys right now. That's for damn sure. And I wouldn't have been lucky enough to listen to your music for the last 5 years.
Well, thanks, man.
And I know your music is because of who you are and your culture and what you've went through. And then just as a person, too, just because we all, doesn't matter where we're from, we all have different experiences growing up. And I see your music as such an extension from you, the little bit that I know of you. Was that always intended, or like, did you intend to get into music for fun? Or was it instantly that outlet, that therapy for you? Because it seems so ingrained one and the same for you.
I'll let you take this, Luke. I've been talking a lot.
Well, I mean, if we're talking 1876 stuff, that's way more Gabe than me. But for music,
both of you for the projects you've done and where you're at now.
I've been drumming. Like my mom put me into band when I was 5 years old in first grade. So I've been a percussionist literally my entire life. I don't remember doing anything else. But I also remember the day I was 12 and one of my classmates gave me a mixtape of a bunch of Fat Records bands that he said I needed to hear because my music taste sucked at the time. And since that day, since that mixtape, and the one song I specifically remember was a Propagandhi song, who I still believe is one of those few old bands I can look up to and be like, you guys are at least talking about the issues and living the right way. You know, not that there's any judgment there, but like they're doing the right stuff. I remember that as like, oh, I don't have to make music just because it's fun. I can actually put myself into what I'm doing. And I'm not much of a lyricist. I am a writer. I have a degree in English and everything, but I don't write lyrics for most of the bands I'm in. But all of my personality goes into that stuff. And if I didn't believe in what 1876 was doing, I wouldn't be back there hitting stuff in some kind of order, right? Part of the reason I was happy to join this band, more than happy, ecstatic to join this band, is because since the first track I heard, it meant something. It speaks to what the world is, and the voices that haven't been heard over the last couple hundred years since colonization happened. Like those voices need to get out there, and Gabe is doing that with his words, and I'm proud to be back there supporting those words and like believing in what we're putting out there into the world. It's not just, we're not making money. Why else do this if you don't love it?
Yeah, agreed. I especially agree with that last part. I'm kind of the same thing. Like, I've always loved music. Music's such a big part of Indian culture. Singing, like I grew up singing traditional music. I heard powwow music, went to powwows, all that stuff. But I mostly sang like traditional music, ceremonial songs. That's why when you hear the powwow singing in our music, not only does it reflect who we come from as Nitsitapi and Titsitsas, but it also reflects the fact that I grew up singing traditional songs and not powwow. There's a different way of singing, but it's pretty similar. But like Luke works, he lives around the Puyallup tribe. He's very familiar with them, and so he knows how different their singing is from like how we sing compared to how they sing up north, like in Canada, like the Crees, they sing completely different. But anyway, all that probably doesn't matter. You can probably cut it off. But like, essentially, music is just part of my culture. It's part of who we are as Indian people, singing and all that. And then as a family, like my family's very musical. My mom plays guitar. My dad loves music. My dad's mean on the spoons. All my brothers play instruments. Like my uncles, aunties, great uncles, great aunties, they all played country music, blues. My grandma sang. Like it's all around my family is music. And so for me, like learning to play music and all that stuff, it was mostly like when I was a kid, I had different goals. Like, of course, I just wanted people like the story that I always point to was being in front of the BIA, waiting to pick up my dad from work, and listening to Purple Rain with my mom. That was Prince is like her favorite artist, and the song "When Doves Cry" clicked in my head. Like it's when I understood music finally. And I was like 5, 6 years old, something like that, or maybe even younger. But there's just when he was singing certain lines, I understood the feelings he was talking about, and I was like, "Oh, is that what music is?" Like it all clicked. And then there's a song by REM, "Losing My Religion." I was around the same age, and it was the same thing. Like the lyrics are, "That's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight, losing my religion," and I remember being in trouble and in the corner. So I was like, yeah, I understand that. And then like when I was in the corner, it felt like everyone was looking at me because I was in trouble. So I was like, yeah, I know what it's like being in a spotlight. And then I was like 4 or 5, and I remember the line "losing my religion." At 4 or 5, I was like, yeah, my people, our religion's gone. Like I know what that's like too. I know what it's like to not have something you used to have. So I, of course, as a kid, I interpreted that song completely wrong. But that like I was like, oh, this is what music is. And then seeing how it affected people and how positively people reacted, like my brothers having band shirts and things like that as a kid, I was like, I just want them to be proud of me the way that they're proud of these bands. I want my mom to be as excited about me as she's excited about Prince. I want other people in the world to be excited about me the way that they're excited about all these other people. And then that changes. Like I get into high school, I just wanted to meet girls. I just wanted like chicks to be like around, and so I was like, I'm gonna try and make music that girls like. It didn't work, and then I get a little bit older, and I'm like, I want to see the world. I want music to take me around the world. I want to see as much of this world as I can, but I want to do it via music. And then that didn't work. And now I'm here, and I'm just like, I just want to tell my story. I want to tell the story as a city Indian. I want to tell people about things that they're choosing to ignore, because it's a choice to ignore American Indian history. It's a choice to ignore Native American history. It's a choice to ignore MMIW. It's a choice to ignore all the different ways that we are being affected as a group of people who were here before everybody else. It's a choice to ignore all that. And nobody here in this country is innocent. Even if your people had nothing to do, you still got a little bit of that residue on your fingers because you're here and you're not in your home. You're in mine. And you're choosing to ignore that you're stepping on my toes. You're choosing to ignore that my family's bones are in your dirt. You're choosing to ignore that, and I'm not going to let you do that. So that's where my goal is now.
Well, and with because like I said, listening to your music, unless you're just not, of course, obviously a lot of punks didn't listen to the fucking lyrics, but for general purposes, not for this conversation, if you listen to the lyrics, it's clear to see where you stand, who you are, and unless you lived under a rock, you know who 1876 is and what you represent. Do you feel with because the way everything is so just they're like I said, there's no gray area. And if there is a gray area, that's not on the right side because there's too defined of a line. So do you feel like is it easier for the right people to hear your music now because of how small the demographic is getting? Because like I said, we keep losing more people and losing more people. Do you feel like maybe there's a silver lining? So maybe now the right people are going to hear you?
I think being Indian in general is kind of, in my experience anyway, when you're an Indian person, you tend to, like, just our identity is pretty, what's the word, like, people either like you or they don't when you're native. Like,
Divisive.
yeah, it's like, and it's not because I'm asking, but you're gonna tell me. That's how Americans are, and globally, that's how it's been when I've gone around. Now that I have traveled and I've gone around the world, places like Canada or over in Europe or South America, they either like you or they don't, and you didn't ask, and but they're gonna tell you their answer. So, that's no matter what. I think just as being Indian people and being proud of where we come from and choosing to express our culture and choosing to express our identity the way that we do through beadwork and braiding our hair and things like that, things that we've always done and things that I refuse to let this world tell me is not acceptable. That's my culture. I've always done this. My blood's always done this. You will not decide that for me. Because I'm doing that, doesn't matter what band I'm in, it's going to divide. It's going to like, so even if my music was about girls and about how girls don't understand me, even in my 30s, like about how, like, just the regular stuff, like if I was writing like MGK music or whatever, or writing NoFX songs about drinking pee in a tub and things like that, like if I was doing that, but I look like this, it's still going to divide because Uh, it's the way American culture is. So no matter what, the people who get it, like I've been saying this from the jump, it's always been like a catchphrase of 1876 is it's Powell punk rock. If you're for it, it's for you. If you get it, get in. If you don't get it, go away.
I have a little different take on that question that Gabe had. I think it's easier for people to find us that really believe in that message because we're not ambiguous.
Yeah.
Gabe brought up the interrupters earlier, like, take back the power. What does that mean? When Gabe is singing DeGaff on stage, like that's one of my favorite songs to play, is because it's like the best show for me. I'm right there watching the coolest thing ever from the best seat in the house. When he starts singing that and he's in your face, like saying you haven't given a fuck about Indians ever, you can't hide from that. You either get on board and you're with us as a band, or you're completely against it and you don't come out and see us. And we've experienced that in the short time I've been in the band. We've experienced both sides of it. So I don't think that it's like we're finding out who everybody is. I think it's that they're finding out who we are because we aren't hiding it.
That's good. I mean, you're there. It's so nice. I mean, it sucks we've lost so many bands and friends and people in the punk rock community to the wrong side. But having bands that are so just very definitive, like you guys, someone that you can use as a litmus test. Like, okay, if they're cool with them, that's someone I'll do business with. Because like we said, all of a sudden you have these bands that been following for 30 years that are all of a sudden indifferent to things, and you're like, well, now I can't trust them or some of the, because the music industry is small, really. Everybody knows somebody, and it's not hard to get on the wrong side of a list, And so it's like, it's really, you don't want to end up on the wrong side of history, especially in a industry, any of the entertainment industry, not just the music side of it. So it's nice having bands like you, like Propaganda, Dropkick, stuff like that, where you're like, okay, you kind of take their lead. You could be like, okay, see what they're doing, and that's cool. Because then you see some of those that stay indifferent, and you're like, well, I don't know who I can trust anymore. So thank you for being such, well, I mean, it's not like you're doing anything out of the ordinary. You're just being yourselves. But honestly, thank you for that. Because like I said, it gives me something to look forward to as far as music goes. And like I said, following you guys, I'm finding other bands and friends and fans that I have something in common with that I don't have to worry about later on. So thank you for, like I think I've told Gabe this before, I appreciate you, your music, and your message, and from the bottom of my heart, I haven't shut up about recording all week. My wife and kid are just sick of hearing about you guys all week. I'm like, just go downstairs. I can't listen to it anymore. So thank you guys for coming on. This has been a lot of fun.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate you saying all that nice stuff, man. Thank you.
Well, and it's been cool because I've been listening to you guys for a while. Not didn't know a whole lot about you till a couple of years ago and stuff. But getting into your older stuff, and it's it's been a lot of fun listening to you guys. Like I said, having something I know is it's a positive message. It's got a good story, and it's telling me, it's educating me too. I mean, anybody that thinks they're done learning is probably is.
Yeah.
They probably are. They were right. I don't know. So I just want to thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on. So what have you guys got coming up?
When this airs, we will have just finished our tour with Subhumans. So all we have left for the rest of the year of 2025 is Friendsgiving here in Portland, which is a Sad Times event, which is our bassist. He has a production company called Sad Times. Jake is his name. He does a thing called Friendsgiving where they bring all these bands together. I think the first one was last year. We played it, but all these bands, it's 2 nights. All these bands come together. All the money from Friendsgiving is donated to an organization, and it's an Indigenous organization because Thanksgiving is a Indigenous holiday. It's like an East Coast Indian celebration. We didn't really do it in the plains. I don't know about the West Coast, but over in the East they definitely did it. And it's the only celebration that Indians still get to celebrate, but it's been bastardized, of course, by American culture because Americans would never thank anything. But uh, it's to honor that old tradition that Native people have always had, which is giving thanks and like yeah, giving back to your community and things like that. So last year we donated to the Sad Times in 1876, donated to the Bagani Institute, which is Cutswood. It's a language school back on the Blackfeet reservation. This year it's a Yakama organization. I forget the name, but I will send you that information. So maybe, I don't know, in the notes or something you can put it. But all the money from the 2 nights, it's a festival. All the money will be donated to that Yakama organization. So yeah, that's all we got going on. That's literally the last thing of the year.
Good. Well, you guys have had one hell of a busy year. So another question. So you did was it Subhumans you guys are just wrapping up with?
Yeah.
And then you had, so what's it like going from having played with some of the older, more established like that compared to like, you know, usually you guys would play with a lot of the newer, younger bands that are coming up, and then get playing with a more experienced band like that. How's that been to kind of get the best of both worlds?
Yeah. I don't know. It's it's been cool, I guess. Like we're living in the middle somewhere, which is interesting. Like when you play with the older bands, you see how much how connected everyone is. Like they all know each other. When you play with the younger bands, it's kind of the same thing. Like the younger bands, everybody knows everybody. Like Jake, our bassist, he knows everyone. Like he and he has like a Rolodex in his head. Like I have a trash memory for stuff like that. He's got like, he knows how everyone's connected, why they're connected. Like he's crazy that way. But I don't know. I think it's a really good question. I don't know. Luke, do you have an answer?
I feel like when you play with the older bands, you learn tricks. You learn, even as a drummer, like, oh, I see why you set your speed locks that way, or why you did this thing. And I learned, those dumb little things that even 30 years into this, I didn't know, right? I'm also getting to the point where I'm teaching that to younger guys, which makes me feel ancient. But then you play with the younger bands, and like Bad Cop's older than us, right? But it's that energy thing that Gabe was talking about when we play with them. Those younger bands are still excited about the stuff that we're jaded about. Like, oh, good, I get to sit in a club until 1:30 in the morning when I can finally get paid, and then go home and sleep a couple hours and go back to work. Those young guys still get excited about that, and that's fun. When they're just stoked to like hang out in a green room that still smells like piss, like, yeah. Okay, I don't like doing that, but I'm glad you guys do because it makes me happy.
I'm excited. I'm still excited about all that. My excitement level is not the same as theirs.
That's true. But you're young. Remember, you're way younger than me.
I use CDs.
At least it's cassettes and not reel to reel or some shit. Jesus.
Yeah, oh. I would second that for just seeing the younger bands. Like, I don't know. I think playing with younger bands, you see, it's just kind of the old, like, I don't know. It's true throughout history, throughout the animal kingdom. Like the older bands are just set in their ways, and they're like, you can learn from people being set in their ways because there are things that work really well. But then when you're with the young bands and you're around like the newer bands and stuff like that, or kids or whatever, like they're still figuring things out. They're still figuring out life, which is a fun thing to relive because I have my life, like I know who I am, but it's cool to be able to look at these kids and see that they're still trying to figure out who they are. Or even just young bands, they might be our age, but they're a younger band than us. And so they're still trying to find their path. But specifically seeing how newer artists are finding different ways to jet out and kind of spread in ways that we haven't, and in ways that the older bands will not. Or even just musically, how they're allowing different styles of music to come in and influence them in ways that the older bands will not. So it's like the older bands will teach us how to maintain the things that we have that are strength, and the younger bands are teaching us how to how to stay fluid in a rushing river.
That's a damn good answer. All right. Well, running out of time here. So again, like I said, I've been looking forward to this since we talked was probably a month or two ago. So thank you so much. Man, the new EP is just fantastic. I love it. You guys got to get up here to the Midwest so I can see you guys play live. Like I said though, thanks for coming on. You deserve your long winter break. Work on some more music. I need some more. And like I said, thanks again for coming on. I truly appreciate you guys. I appreciate your music, your message, and just everything about you. Thank you for being, I should have to thank you for just being good people, but that's where we are in the world. So honest to God, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being you and just keep fucking doing it, man. I
Thanks.
appreciate you. Your music is important, not just to me, to a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Yeah,
time, man.
thanks a lot.
That nice stuff.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. It's been a great show. As always, like, subscribe, share, all that. Give me some feedback, good, bad. Want to know what we're doing. And thank you to 1876 for being on the show, and we will see you next time.